Sabbath peace.
Sabbath peace.
It's another opportunity to come together and hear and learn of the word of truth that's given to us by the Most High God. All honor goes to the Father through the Son, whose name is Yahushua. In him lies the only hope for salvation. We know that it is obtained by grace through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast, and given freely as a gift to all who obey him. We understand that if you do not obey him, it is made manifest or made obvious that you do not believe. In this state, you should expect no good thing from the Most High God. However, anything that you do get, whether it's a gift of tongues or a gift of prophecy or any supernatural experience that you may have, it can and it will be used against you in the day of judgment. With that said, peace to the saints that are in the room, to the saints that couldn't make it, but no peace to the wicked. The only thing we say to them is repent that they might live. Y'all keep it down there. Okay. Thank you. Let's go ahead and open up to Isaiah chapter 28, verse 9. So Isaiah chapter 28, verse 9. Let's try to shoot through this. We got a lot to cover. I want to get to the Sermon on the Mount.
What'd you just call it?
Sermon on the Mount.
Go Christian butt out of here. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand the doctrine? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little. Mm-hmm. For with stammering lips and another tongue will he speak to this people, to whom he said, this is the rest, wherewith ye may cause the weary to rest.
And the what?
And this is the refreshing.
But what happened?
Yet they would not hear.
So the word of the Lord was unto them?
Precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little and there a little.
For what reason?
That they might go and fall backward and be broken and snared and taken.
The whole thing is a trap, right? He put the whole thing out there to us, and it ends up being a trap for us. When did we celebrate Passover?
What was that, like a month ago?
I think we gotta update. I don't know if I already updated our weeks. Put one more on there. You know what I'm saying? So we got 3 weeks to go until we get to the Feast of Weeks. Tomorrow after the Sabbath. But we look at it, this whole thing is a trap for us. All right? For every one of us, it's set up to be a trap. Hey! Be quiet. The way that we ensure that we don't fall into the trap, all we got to do is hear. Remember, the man said, but they would not hear. And the word of the Lord was unto them, precept upon precept. It was a puzzle, precept upon precept. So it remained a puzzle. It starts off as a puzzle because you're a child, you're a baby. And even throughout that, if you do not hear, it stays as a puzzle. And the reason why it stays as a puzzle is for you to be trapped. At the end, he said that they might go and fall backwards and be broken and snared and taken. So that if that's the case, if it starts as a puzzle and you never figure out the puzzle because you just done with it, you just gave up, right? And it continues to be a puzzle. It continues so that you might be trapped. So what we need to know is we can't be done. We can't be fed up, right? We got to keep pushing through. That thing don't make sense to us. We just got to, okay, let's read it again then. Still don't make sense. Okay, well, let's read it again then. But we can't ever stop where we just like, okay, well, I'm just going to make it up. That's what a lot of people do. They keep reading the book, right? They'll keep reading the book, but they didn't make it up. You know what I'm saying? Just like, well, I don't know what it means, but this is what it means to me now. God is this is my personal relationship with God. Right? He ain't got no personal relationship. Man got a relationship. You don't even know what type of stuff is that. I ain't gonna tell you something different and tell everybody else. What type of God would that be? It's like, no, it's the truth for you. And the truth is something else for them. So if he lead to killing your mama, and God told him it's the truth, but he told you it's also the truth to kill him for killing your mama, what type of God is that? It just don't make sense. They ain't got no order, but these people don't have order. They don't want order. So of course the God they can concoct in their own brain ain't gonna have no darn order. It wouldn't make sense. Everybody go their own way. They tell us we divisive. You know what I'm saying? They tell us we dividing people. I tell you, look, everybody got to come the same way. To me, that's unity. You know what I'm saying? That thing, books that grab goodness gracious. What I want? Grab 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 20, maybe. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 13. Let's try that. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 13. You know what I'm saying? God talking to you personally. He talked to you. And he said, Daniel, you know what? I want you to go left. Then Tasha, who's facing the same direction you was facing, he said, Tasha, I want you to go right. Right? And then he tell me and T, just turn around. You know what I'm saying? All of us now going in different directions. We all start off in one direction, we going in a different direction. Because God is personally telling us something different. They God, right? Personally telling us something different. That wouldn't work. Whereas the man just tell everybody, I ain't gonna tell you go left or right. I'm gonna tell you follow this bright star. You know what I'm saying? Wherever that star leads you, just go there. Right? Follow this light. You know what I'm saying? Wherever that light leads you, no matter what, the light can do whatever it wants. But guess what? We all following the same thing. We all gonna be in the same place. It's unity. It's one objective thing that everyone can look to. These people don't want to be objective. They want everything to be, you know what I'm saying, based off of how they feel at the moment. What 13 say? Is that what I want?
Is the Messiah divided? Was Paul crucified for you, or were you baptized in the name of Paul?
Mm-hmm.
I thank God that I baptized none of you.
That ain't what I want. Give me verse 5. What do you think?
We're talking about unity?
Yeah.
Let's talk about, I think it's in Ephesians.
No. It's right here. I think it's verse 5 though.
That in everything you are enriched by him in all utterance and in all knowledge, even as the testimony of the Messiah was confirmed in you.
Mm-hmm.
So that you come behind in no gift, waiting for the coming of our Lord Yahushua the Messiah, who shall also confirm you unto the end that ye may be blameless in the day of our Lord Yahushua the Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
God is faithful, by whom you are called unto fellowship of his Son Yahushua our Lord. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the name of our Lord Yahushua, that you all speak the same
He
thing.
said what?
You all speak the same
He
thing.
said, I beseech you in the name of our master, Yahushua. He said that you all speak the same things. How is that not unity? If you say it the same way. Everybody speak the same things. Okay, keep going.
And that there be no divisions among you, but that you be perfectly joined together in the same mind and in the same judgment.
He said, you want everybody perfectly joined together in the same mind and the same judgment. So the same judgment, you know what that means? That means that if it turns out that somebody is not of the same mind, we all look at that same situation and we judge it the same way. Or that person stepped out of line. So it ain't no, oh, I think we should do this, or I think we should. We all look at it and be like, nope, that's what should happen. Right? He stepped out of line, this should be the punishment. Or this should be the consequence. Right? Everybody look at it the exact same way. That's the same judgment. How do you accomplish that without the book? How do you accomplish that how do you accomplish that with the Most High God telling everybody something different? I give you this little piece. I give you this little piece without a foundation that everybody can go off of. That's what they want us to believe. They want us to believe, well, the Bible, it's been tampered with men. There's some stuff in it that they have good stories, this, that, and the other, this, that. There's some stuff in it. Like, I understand that coming from somebody who just ain't got nothing to do with the Bible. I have a friend who told me that the other day, right? I get it. I'm not offended. You ain't got nothing to do with it, but you know I ever taught you the Bible. You never dug into it. That makes sense coming from you. How are you a Christian, a person that claimed to believe what the book say, the God of the Bible, and you say that foolishness?
That's crazy.
That don't make sense. But guess what? You drill them down, hit them with enough of the word, make them uncomfortable enough, I guarantee you every one of them will say it. They ain't gonna say it flat out. They gonna be like, nah, the word is word. Everything written is the truth. As long as you don't get specific with them. Everything written, oh my God, he wrote that, but everything in it is the truth. Then you start nailing their butt down, oh, everything in it is the truth. What about this? What about that? What about that? When he said this, that. Well, now some of it been tampered with now. Same conversation. We didn't seen it before.
Yeah, I've seen it before too.
Same conversation. They have back that thing. No, well, now some of it. You just never know. What he said? Paul wrote that one. What does that mean? You know what I'm saying? What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying? Paul wrote that one. You know what I'm saying? What you worship Paul or you worship Christ? You know what I'm saying? If you don't knock it off, the man's an apostle of the Most High God.
He was sent in place of the Messiah.
What's wrong? The man already told you if you don't come in by my gospel, how you gonna get in? I tell you what, you reject Paul, guess who you really rejected? Get your butt. What's wrong with these boys? Just be making a mess. And then they teach the people this foolishness.
He told Samuel, he said, they're not rejecting you, they rejecting me.
Yeah.
That got that. Man told you if you give a man a drink of water in my name, it's like giving me a drink of water. And if you reject a man that come in my name, you rejected me. Period. Who you think you dealing with? If the man say, this is my apostle, if this is the person in my stead, since I am not there, this is the person that represents me. And then you be like, but you worship Paul or Yahushua. Your stupid butt ain't smart enough to know that they saying the same thing. You sitting here because they don't agree with you. You gonna blame God. Right? And you gonna disannul what God's saying because they don't agree with what you think it should be. You gonna make God a sinner. You gonna make God a liar because it don't line up with how you think it should be. Make a fool out of yourself. Man, what you think the man gonna do to you at the end of the day you stomp over his darn son?
Maybe dissing David and Abraham like that.
Anybody who get in the way of what they want to do, they tear their butt down. They tearing down God's people now. There's a lot of people that would be God's people, and they put blocks in front of them. They make them feel guilty about wanting to be righteous. Grab, what is it? Grab Ezekiel chapter 13. Is that what it is? Ezekiel chapter 13? Give me the last verse. Maybe second to the last verse.
Maybe in the 30s.
I want to say 13. Give me 13. Let's try 13 first. If that ain't it, I have no idea what it is. We can go with 30 after that.
I think.
It might be 16. No, 16 is, I don't know. I can't. Goodness gracious. I got to get back in this book.
Wait a minute. Yeah, I did too bad. I just think
You're right. 13. I think 13.
What is it, 13:26, last verse? That's what came in my mind, 13:26. What's the last verse? Whatever it is.
23, I think.
23?
22, right? Yeah.
22 one on one?
Yeah, 22.
This is Ezekiel chapter 13, verse 22. What does the book say? After this, then we got to get rolling. You know what I'm saying? We got to get
because with lies you have made the heart of the righteous sad.
He said, with lies you have made the heart of the righteous sad. These are people that would be righteous. You made them sad with lies. Because of what?
And strengthened the hands of the wicked that he should not return from his wicked way by promising him life.
So in other words, you going to the person that's sitting and saying, God love you. I mean, I don't know what this sounds like today. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if we see any examples of this today. You know what I'm saying? But you go to the person that's sitting and say, God loves you, come as you are. Right? And the person is just like, man, I just want to get it right. And God's law say I shouldn't eat this. I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do this. I shouldn't do this. And you know what? What they doing is wrong too. And I don't know why you allow it. Then you tell them they what?
Self-righteous.
Self-righteous, legalistic. You know what I'm saying? They live by the law. You die by the law. All types of stuff. And make them, what's the word say?
Sad.
And the ones that's a sinner, you do what to them?
Promise them what?
Book say you strengthen them. You strengthen them in their evil. What do you think happened when they come? They come in, sex, smoking, drinking, you know, so all that. And you tell them, God love you no matter what you do. I mean, but you do give them a suggestion. You do tell them, but it's better not to do those things. They do. I ain't gonna lie on the folks now. It ain't like they telling them keep doing the stuff. They do tell them, it is, God would prefer it now. You know what I'm saying? If God had his choice, you know what I'm saying? He would rather that you not do those things. However, either way, he love you. What you think that do to people?
They don't feel they gotta change.
They don't go back and be like, well, you know what? I ain't gonna smoke it all this week. But next week. And guess what? God's gonna love me the same all the way through. Because I'm trying. I mean, I'm trying a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm giving it my best effort, and that's all God wants from me. You just make a bigger darn hypocrite. You strengthen them in being a hypocrite. Let's grab, where we leave off last week?
Mark
2. It's Mark chapter 2, what verse?
22.
It's Mark chapter 2, verse 22. Watch what the book say. Remember last week we was reading through, and what did we read? We was reading through and we saw Yahushua walking through. He started to do miracles. He was telling people, yo, keep it low. You know what I'm saying? Remember he cast out the demon. The demon started running the darn mouth like, I know who you are. You know what I'm saying? So he cast out the demon. You remember that it was the faith of the men who they couldn't get to Yahushua. They wanted they boy to be healed. So they just let him down through the roof. Yahushua was like, man, look at that faith. He told them, your sins be forgiven you. You know what I'm saying? And all of the scribes that was around, they were looking at it, you know what I'm saying, the book out, like, why y'all, you know what I'm saying, they're reasoning in their heart. Yahushua was like, you know what I'm saying, why y'all over there reasoning in your heart? You know what I'm saying? In other words, they're sitting there trying to figure it out, like, what in the world? Why does this man feel like he can forgive sins? Ain't that blasphemy? Then he came back to Yahushua with a smart mouth. He came back to him and was like, you know what I'm saying, why you reasoning in your heart? Because, you know what I'm saying, I say his sins are forgiven. You know what I'm saying? You tell me which is harder to do. For me to just tell him his sins are forgiven, or for me to tell him get up and be healed and he be healed. You know what I'm saying? Then after that he said, just so y'all know that the Son of Man had the power to forgive sins, get your butt up and be healed. Man got up and all healed. Right? So he looked at him like, you know what I'm saying, what you want to do? You know what I'm saying? What y'all talking about? You know what I'm saying? Then he kept it moving after that. Everybody amazed by it, you know what I'm saying? Kept on moving. So we see these type of things. He's doing little pockets. You remember the whole bunch of, or remember he went to a town, a whole bunch of people wanted to be healed. They healed some of them and he ran off into the night. Then his disciples found him like, yo, there's a whole bunch more people trying to find you. Then he is like, yeah, let's go to the next city. You know what I'm saying? So you see he's like doing it like a little bit here, in little pockets. But his fame is growing. You know what I'm saying? Everybody is talking about it. It's a reason why this is building up this way. He took also, at this point, we probably about right here. You know what I'm saying? We only like a little further. You know what I'm saying? So we're a little bit further. You know what I'm saying? This was like Passover. You know what I'm saying? So we like a little bit further after the Passover. It's a whole year of this building up. Then when we get to this point, the man get crucified. You know what I'm saying? So that's what we look. He builds this, you know what I'm saying? He creates this dichotomy in the land. It ain't half and half either, but he creates this dichotomy where it's like a lot of people support him, but then there's a lot of people that's like uneasy, and then there's some people in the middle. You know what I'm saying? Just like, I don't know what to do. So think of it like Republican Democrats. You know what I'm saying? Where it's just like, you know, it's like, and then you got the independents and the widow just like, man, I don't really know. I'm just trying to see where the wind blowing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how this thing gonna really play out. So let's see, grab, keep going actually. We ain't gotta grab nothing.
And no man put new wine in old bottles, or else the new wine does burst the bottles, and the wine is spilled, and the bottles will be marred. But new wine must be put into new bottles. And it came to pass that he went through the cornfields on the Sabbath day, and his disciples began as they went to pluck the ears of corn. And the Pharisees said unto him, behold, why do they on the Sabbath day that which is not lawful?
Right? So they going through, you gotta get the picture, you gotta make sure you imagine what's happening. So we walking through, and just imagine like big old fields of grain, and they plucking the grain off of when they walking through the field, they just plucking it and then eating it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what type of grain to be growing that you could just eat.
I'm from the city.
Yeah, I don't know nothing about this stuff. You failed me today.
Somebody like in the field?
Yeah. Let's just say they say corn, so let's just go with corn, right? Let's say it's a husk of corn. That ain't the corn they talking about though. They talking about like wheat and all that, you know what I'm saying? So like, but let's just say, you know what I'm saying, like barley, right? It's a barley field. They just pluck it off and they just eat the barley, you know what I'm saying, right off of the thing. You know what I'm saying? Just like this. You know what I'm saying? They just eat it. You know what I'm saying? You probably, I don't know how it works, but you probably just go like that, you know what I'm saying, to get a whole mouthful. You ain't even gotta boil it. You know what I'm saying? They're going and chewing on that thing. They hungry, right? So they picking it off as they walk. They just doing it as they walk. They're picking it off. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Just talking, right? So as they going through, the Pharisees is like, it's Sabbath day. Why they feel like it's okay for them to, you know what I'm saying, like pluck the corn from the fields, right? Pharisees suggesting that that's against the law, right? Is it?
No.
No. The book say don't labor on the Sabbath. Right? If they're peeling up the whole field, bundling it up, throwing it in the back of their truck, you know what I'm saying, that's labor. Are you working? Man, just walking and taking off at the end of them, you know what I'm saying? They're walking and talking and eating. They ain't no different from eating on any other day. Right? But the Pharisees, and why would the Pharisees have this view? Where would this come from, this view? Nehemiah, right? You remember Nehemiah on the Sabbath day. He said, man, look, anybody doing business, trying to buy or sell, get your butt out of here. Matter of fact, don't even be in our gates. Don't y'all go out there to buy from them. Don't do nothing. Close the gates. Nehemiah put something in place because we just got kicked out of our land. Nehemiah got us back into the land. So Nehemiah put stuff in place. He's like, look, don't even come close to sinning. Now, Nehemiah didn't tell people this is a sin. Nehemiah had the authority over the land. So as a person, if I make laws, I can make a law saying whatever I want to as the lawmaker. Right? I can say, listen, in my house, right? I can say in my house, you cannot wear shoes on my carpet. That's perfectly lawful for me to do. Right? However, if somebody wears shoes on my carpet and I tell them you a sinner for it, I tell them God don't like you, well, that's when it's a problem. So Nehemiah was good with what he was doing. However, what happens from that is, that turns into Nehemiah did it. Nehemiah is a man of God. God don't want us to do these things. And it still happens today, right? But you put stuff in front, nothing wrong with doing that. Just separate it. This is what I'm telling you to do. This is what God requires of you, right? The Pharisees lost that separation. Right? And that's what happened when you get so darn smart, too darn smart for your own darn good. You study so darn hard, follow all the tradition, you know all the darn history of everybody. You know what I'm saying? You ain't talking about the history of God no more. You just know the history of everything and everybody. And all that stuff just start bleeding together and God make a fool out of it.
They do that, a lot of Hebrews do, they believe birthdays is unlawful.
That'd be true.
Yeah, but the book never said it.
Book never said
Yeah.
Now, if I say personally, I don't want to celebrate birth. This is not what we do. And these are all the reasons that they use. Because everybody in the Bible who ever celebrated a birthday, outside of Yahushua, everybody in the Bible who ever celebrated a birthday has been evil. For that reason, me and my family, we don't celebrate birthdays.
You know, I talk to somebody like, that's fine if you don't want to do it. I'm cool with the fact you don't want to do it. Don't let your family do it. That's fine. But don't say don't say it's against the law. You know what I'm saying? God never had a law that said don't celebrate birthday.
Then you're overreaching, right? You're doing too much. And that's where the Pharisees are right now. So watch how Yahushua respond to it.
And the Pharisee said to him, behold, why do they on the Sabbath day do that which is not lawful? And he said unto him,
you have to understand before he responds, you have to understand that Yahushua's purpose, right, is really provocative, right? What he's doing is really provocative. A lot of times he's provoking, you know what I'm saying, he's provoking like a reaction out of people, right? So what he's doing is is very provocative, but at the same time, it's to provoke thought, right? It's provoke you to kind of re-examine what you believe or what you look at. You know what I'm saying? So watch what he responds. We just explained that clearly it's not really against the law. And Yahushua could have easily argued that point, right? He could have been like, well, really the law doesn't say you can't pluck out of the field like what they're doing. You're talking about. He could have argued that all up and down. But watch the angle that he took it.
And he said to them, have you never read what David did when he had need and was a hunger?
Mm-hmm.
He and they that were with him.
Mm-hmm.
How he went into the house of God in the days of Abiathar the high priest, and did eat the showbread, which is not lawful to eat, but for the priests, and gave also to them which were with him.
Right?
And he said unto them, the Sabbath was made for man, and not man for the Sabbath.
All right, so he came back and he told you the Sabbath was made for men to enjoy. This was a gift given from God to men to rest. Not that man was made for the Sabbath, right? And he gave the example of David. We read it not too long ago in our reading. That David going to Abimelech, right? And Abimelech was like, hey, what you doing, David? Let's grab it actually. Go to 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel chapter 21. This 1 Samuel chapter 21, verse 1. This is when David is on the run from Saul. So you remember King Saul got the kingdom. He is the first king of Israel, right? King Saul got the kingdom. And then after Saul messed up, he disobeyed God, the kingdom was ripped from him, right? In spirit, it was ripped from him. So the prophet, the man of God, Samuel, he went to David and he anointed David to be king. David was a young buck at the time. So there is already like this rising thought that David is going to become king. He go out, he killed Goliath. He starts to get more fame than Saul. After a while, Saul kind of looking at him like, oh, you trying to get my kingdom. That creates adversity against him. Saul starts looking for David and trying to kill him. But at the same time, trying to keep up appearances like we all on the same team. He is like being bipolar. Like at one moment it's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, you my boy, I love you. And, you know what I'm saying, I love you like a son. Then the next moment he throwing javelins at him, trying to, you know what I'm saying, trying to stab the man. You know what I'm saying? So it's like this weird, like, you know what I'm saying, political type thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, we cool, but behind the scenes, I'll tear your butt up. You know what I'm saying? So to the people, David is Saul's, you know what I'm saying, most loyal soldier. And Saul loves him, right? But behind closed doors, David ain't crazy. He's like, man, Saul trying to kill me, right? He even had a hard time convincing Saul's son. You know what I'm saying? Saul's son's like, no, ain't no way my dad trying to kill. There's no way that my dad, what do you mean my dad love? And David like, listen. You know what I'm saying? David like, listen. Right? So that's a whole other story. But you know, so he had a hard time. So for the public, they thought they were cool. So you need to know that before what happens here with Abimelech. This is 1 Samuel chapter 21, verse 1.
Then David came to Nob to Ahimelech the priest. And Ahimelech was afraid at the meeting of David and said unto him, why are you alone and no man with you?
Mm-hmm.
And David said to Ahimelech the priest, the king has commanded me a business, and has said unto me, let no man know anything of the business whereabout I send you, and what I have commanded you. And I have appointed my servants to such and such a place. Now therefore, what is under your hand? Give me 5 loaves of bread in my hand, or what there is present. And the priest answered David and said, there is no common bread under my hand, but here is hallowed bread, if the young men have kept themselves at least from women. And David answered the priest and said unto him, of a truth women have been kept from us about these 3 days since I came out.
So the priest is sitting there. He walk up. The priest like, man, what you doing? You by yourself. David tell him, man, look, the king got me on a mission right now. You know what I'm saying?
He told me that.
Yeah, the king got me on a mission, top secret. You know what I'm saying? Top secret. So, you know, the priest looking like, oh, all right. He's like, man, I just need some bread for me and my guys. You know what I'm saying? So then he's like, the priest looking like, well, I don't have no common bread. Common bread would just be, you know what I'm saying? I ain't got nothing I can just reach in the freezer and get. The only bread he got is the most holy of breads, right? He got the bread that you set out. Grab Numbers, Leviticus chapter 24. It's Leviticus chapter 24. Let's start at verse. Let's do verse 5.
I was gonna say, bro, I remember where that is.
No, I got that one right now. Leviticus chapter 24, verse 5. I just gonna read the whole thing, but we can just do 5. Start there.
And you shall take the fine flour and bake 12 cakes thereof. 2/10 deals shall be in 1 cake.
This is what they given to the priest to do, right? You take the fine flour, you bake 12 cakes of it, right?
And you shall set them in 2 rows, 6 on a row, upon a pure table before the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And you shall put pure frankincense upon each row, that it may be on the bread of memorial, even an offering made by fire unto the Lord. Every Sabbath he shall set it in order before the Lord continually, being taken from the children of Israel by an everlasting covenant.
Right.
And it shall be Aaron's and his sons. And
it shall be whose?
Aaron's and his sons. And they shall eat it in the holy place, for it is most holy unto him.
Look, Aaron and his sons shall eat it. What if somebody else wanted, God?
Offerings of the Lord made by fire for a perpetual statute. And the son of an Israelitish woman, whose father was an Egyptian, went out among the children of Israel, and this son of the Israelitish woman and a man of the Israel strove together in the camp.
You good. Right? So, right there it's saying that it's for the sons of Aaron, and they shall eat it. Right? Grab Numbers chapter 18. We might have to do verse 1 on this one. It's Numbers chapter 18, verse 1.
And the Lord said unto Aaron, you and your sons and your father's house with thee shall bear the iniquity of the sanctuary. And you and your sons with thee shall bear the iniquity of your priesthood. And your brethren also of the tribe of Levi, the tribe of your father, bring with thee, that they may be joined unto thee and minister unto thee. But you and your sons with you shall minister before the tabernacle of witness. And they shall keep your charge in the charge of the tabernacle. Only they shall not come near the vessels of the sanctuary and the altar, that neither they nor you also die. And they shall be joined unto you and keep charge of the tabernacle of the congregation for all the service of the tabernacle. And a stranger shall not come near unto you.
He said what?
A stranger shall not come near unto you.
So if you are not a son of Aaron, right, you're considered a stranger. They said nobody else, book say. Right? So when it comes to David, who's supposed to bear the iniquity of the sanctuary? When it comes to David and Ahimelech. Ahimelech do. Right? Ahimelech was the one that's supposed to bear that iniquity. Right? Book just said the showbread is for who?
The priest.
The sons of Aaron. That's it. Right? So when he looked at it, he told me, like, look, man, I ain't got no common. He knew I don't have any common bread. And then he gave him a stipulation after that. He said, well, listen, if at least the men have kept themselves from women. If at least y'all have kept yourselves from women, I'll give it to you. Right? Because he looking like, man, this holy bread, really you ain't supposed to get it. Just be a little bit righteous. And now I try to, you know what I'm saying? Now I try to give it to you. You know what I'm saying? Just like be a little bit separated, a little bit pure. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? I'll give it to you. The priest made that stipulation. Right? All right. Let's go back. Where we leave off?
Samuel or Mark?
1 Samuel.
Verse 4.
Verse 4, keep going. This 1 Samuel chapter 21, verse 4.
And the priest answered David and said, there is no common bread under my hand, but there is hallowed bread. If the young men have kept themselves at least from women. And David answered the priest and said unto him, of a truth women have been kept from us about these 3 days since I came out.
He looked like, man, look, for real, we ain't had nothing about 3 days. You know what I'm talking about? Keep going.
And the vessels of the young men are holy, and the bread is in a manner common, yea, though it were sanctified this day in the vessel. Right?
So he's saying the bread is in a manner common, though this day it was sanctified. Why would he be saying that based off of what we just read?
Ain't it when it's time to get the new bread out? Wasn't it like,
every Sabbath you got to switch the bread out. Right? So he's like, man, listen, it might as well just be common. You got to switch it out now.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was like, bro, go ahead and give me that. You
know
got to throw it away anyway.
Go ahead, you know what I'm saying? Like, what you mean? You got to switch him out. Somebody got to eat it. Go ahead and hand it over to the boy. Right? Ahimelech gave it to him. Right? Keep going.
So the priest gave him the hallowed bread, for there was no bread there but the showbread that was taken from before the Lord.
Remember, it was taken from before the Lord. So they put new bread out there. They took this one out. What we just read said on every Sabbath, that's when they do that. Right? Okay. So this is why Yahushua brought this up, because this happened on the Sabbath. It don't explicitly say this happened on the Sabbath day, right? But Yahushua used this example because it did happen on the Sabbath day. The way we know that is because the law tells us that they switch out the bread on the Sabbath day. At the end of it, David was like, yo, you know what I'm saying? It's common, but really, he's like, it might as well be common now, you know what I'm saying? Because you about to switch it out. Then he just told them the bread that was taken from, you know what I'm saying? He gave it to them. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, keep going.
So the priest gave him hallowed bread, for there was no bread there but the showbread that was taken from before the Lord to put hot bread in the day when it was taken away. Now a certain man of the servants of Saul was there that day, detained before the Lord. And his name was Doeg, an Edomite, the chiefest of the herdmen that belonged to Saul. And David said to Ahimelech, and there is not here under thine hand spear or sword, for I have neither brought my sword nor my weapons with me, because the king's business required haste.
Watch what he give him.
The sword of Goliath the Philistine, whom you slew in the valley of Elah, behold, it is here wrapped in cloth behind the ephod. If you will take that, take it, for there is no other save that here.
Man, he gave him the Goliath sword, the one he killed.
And David said, there is none like it. Give it to me.
All right. So then he took the sword. Let's go ahead and fast forward a little bit. Let's jump over into the next chapter. It's first Samuel chapter 22. Give me about verse 9. 1 Samuel chapter 22, verse 9.
Then answered Doeg the Edomite, which was set over the servants of
So
Saul.
remember, Doeg was there when all this happened with David. When he got the bread, Doeg was watching it. Now Doeg is with Saul, and Saul's asking him a question, right? So then Doeg answered what happened?
And said, I saw the son of Jesse come into Nob to Ahimelech, the son of Ahitub.
David daddy named it Jesse. That's why he called him the son of Jesse, right? So he saw David do what now?
I saw the son of Jesse coming to Nob to Ahimelech, the son of Ahitub.
Mm-hmm.
And he inquired of the Lord for him, and gave him victuals, and gave him the sword of Goliath the Philistine.
Mm-hmm. They gave him food, and he gave him the sword of Goliath.
Then the king sent to call Ahimelech the priest, the son of Ahitub, and all his father's house,
Mm-hmm.
the priest that was in Nob, and they came all of them to the king.
Mm-hmm.
And Saul said, Hear now, you son of Ahitub.
Mm-hmm.
And he answered, Here am I, my lord.
Mm-hmm.
And Saul said unto him, Why have you conspired against me, you and the son of Jesse, in that you have given him bread and a sword, and have inquired of God for him, that he should rise against me to lie in wait at this day?
Right, so now Saul looking like, why you on his side? Why you conspire against me? You trying to get me killed? Remember, Saul kind of going crazy. He's like, you trying to get me killed? What you doing? Now remember, we talked about it. To the public, they on the same side. As far as everybody else know, y'all play for the same team. So watch how Ahimelech answered.
Then Ahimelech answered the king and said, And who is so faithful among all your servants as David, which is the
He's like,
king's
what are you
son-in-law?
talking about?
And
Your most faithful servant is David. What are you talking about? He's looking at him like, you mad at me? That's your man. I hooked him up. I thought I was doing you a favor.
That's your son-in-law.
Right? Watch this. Keep going.
And goes at your bidding and is honorable in your house.
Mm-hmm.
Did I then begin to inquire of God for him? Be it far from me. Let not the king impute anything unto his servant, nor all of the house of my father, for your servant knew nothing of all this,
Mhm.
less or more. And the king said, You shall surely die, Ahimelech, you and all your father's house.
He said, you and all your what?
Father's house.
That's important. Keep going.
And the king said unto the footmen that stood about him, Turn and slay the priests of the Lord, because their hand is with David, and because they knew when he fled and did not show it to me.
Right? So he turned all the footmen. He was like, yeah, go ahead and kill them all. Kill them all. Right? What the footmen say though?
But the servants of the king would not put forth their hand to fall upon the priests of the Lord.
He like, yeah, I don't know about killing the priest. He like, yeah, saw you doing, you getting a little wild here. I don't know about killing the priest. But guess who did want to kill him?
And the king said to Doeg, Turn thou and fall upon the priest. And Doeg the Edomite turned, and he fell upon the priest and slew on that day 85 persons that did wear in the linen ephod.
Right? The Edomite went out. He did because they ain't his people. Remember, he not familiar with our laws like that. He familiar with them, but he don't feel subjected to our laws like that. He feels subjected to the king. Zahar, go. Right? So he feels subjected to the king. So the king said, you know what I'm saying, go ahead, you know what I mean? Take care of that for my boys, you know what I'm saying? They, you know what I'm saying, they got, you know what I'm saying, they scared to do it. You know what I'm saying? Don't you worry
They're
about
like
it.
superstition.
Yeah, a little superstition. Go ahead, fall upon him. All right, Doeg like, oh, no problem. Kick. Kill them all. Right? Saul told him he's going to kill him and his father's house. Why is that important?
That's what it said in Leviticus. Numbers.
Well, it did say that the sons of Aaron would bear the iniquity of it. Right? But,
Because God told Eli.
there we go, Eli.
In, what was that, Judges?
No, that's in 1 Samuel. Let's grab it. 1 Samuel 2. 1 Samuel. Let's start with 1 Samuel 3. Then we go to 2. It's 1 Samuel 3, verse 7. It's like what the Most High God do. He just kind of wait stuff out. That way he can get like a two for one sale. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I'm saying. I just kind of knock out all these prophecies all at once. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to just kind of piecemeal do it one by one. You know what I'm saying? God chilling sometimes. He just want to relax. He be like, all right, all of them in the same area? Okay, yeah, got them all. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's taking so long for these people, for the world to end. Because he's just waiting, you know what I'm saying? Everybody, all right, everybody good? All right, yeah, got them all at one time. We good. You know what I'm saying? Got everybody we need. He try to do things efficiently. Watch how he do it.
Now Samuel did not yet know the Lord, neither was the word of the Lord revealed to him.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord called Samuel again the third time, and he arose and went to Eli and said, Here am I, for you did call me.
Mm-hmm.
And Eli perceived that the Lord had called the child.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore Eli said to Samuel, Go lie down, and it shall be, if he call you, that you shall surely say, Speak, Lord, for your servant hear.
Mm-hmm.
So Samuel went and laid down in his place, and the Lord came and stood and called as the other times, Samuel, Samuel. And Samuel answered, Speak, for your servant hears. And the Lord said to Samuel, Behold, I will do a thing in Israel, and with which both ears of everyone that heareth.
Hold on right there. You know how people be like, yeah, God be talking to me, this, that, and other. You realize when he thought somebody would come. These people, when they run their mouth, it's just like, oh, it's just a spiritual voice. You know what I'm saying? Just inside, you just know. No. When this man heard the Most High God talk, he thought somebody called him from the other room. You understand? Like, this is different. It's not like I can hear it in my spirit. No, this man hear it in his darn ear. The man walked up 3 times to a whole other man and said, you call me what you want. He said, this sounds like a man's voice that just called me. Right? These people run their darn mouth. They ain't never heard no God. I don't know what's wrong with these people. You know what I'm saying? Man gonna give you a vision or a darn dream. That's it. All this other little gut feeling, you know what I'm saying? I kind of feel like he tell me, that stuff, man, that's just darn indigestion, man. You need to start leaving that stuff alone. Take you a little Tums pill or something. You know what I'm saying? To chew on it. You know what I'm saying? Let's see what they got.
In that day I will perform against Eli all the things which I have spoken concerning his house. When I begin, I will also make an end.
Yep.
For I have told him that I will judge his house forever for the iniquity which he knows.
Mm-hmm.
Because his sons themselves made themselves vile, and he restrained them not.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore I have sworn unto the house of Eli that the iniquity of Eli's house shall not be purged with sacrifice nor offering forever.
Right? You can't get rid of it. He said, in other words, it can't be purged. You can't get rid of it. I'm going to deal with it. He told Eli that. Watch this. Keep going.
And Samuel lay until the morning and opened the doors of the house of the Lord, and Samuel feared to show Eli the vision.
All right, he is scared to tell him. Jump 1 chapter back. Go to 1 Samuel chapter 2. Give me verse 22. So we can kind of hear what really happened. Because he told Samuel that prophecy, but he told Eli the prophecy first. So we're about to read when he tell how it ended up that he told Eli.
Now Eli was very old, and heard all that his sons did unto Israel, and how they lay with the women that assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Right, so they slept with the women that assembled at the door of the tabernacle or the congregation.
And he said unto them, Why do you such things? For I hear of your evil dealings by all this people. No, my sons, for it is not good, not a good report that I hear.
Mm-hmm.
You make the Lord's people to transgress.
Mm-hmm.
If one man sin against another, the judge shall judge him. But if a man sin against the Lord, who shall entreat for him?
Right? He said, man, when you make transgression directly to Most High God, who gonna stand in your stead? Like, who gonna be like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, give him, take it easy on him.
Who's gonna make it right?
Right? He said that if there's nothing, like he's saying there's certain sins you can't get around. Like, it ain't no sacrifice for this. You can't take this to a priest. That's what he's trying to let them know. Like, you committing adultery with some of these women. You laying with some. You cannot take this to a priest. Like, you can't go to a priest and be like, yo, we consider that a sin against the Most High God. You steal something from a man. Okay, you can make it right. Go make a sacrifice, this, that, and another. Okay, for sure. Right? You eat the wrong thing. Okay, yeah, we can make you clean. You know what I'm saying? Just stay until even. He's like, this, man. This one directly to the Most High God. It's a sexual sin. You sinned against him. There's nobody who... You can't bring this to me. I can't make a sacrifice for this. Do you understand that? So him being a priest, how should he have handled that?
He would have to kill him.
His son's supposed to go there. His son's supposed to die. That's judgment. We all supposed to look at that the same way. But that's his boys. Right? He's supposed to take that to a judge, let them figure that thing out. Right? He wasn't supposed to kill him. Right? But he's supposed to take that to a judge. They're supposed to figure that out. Oh yeah, that's gone. That's a sin, and he is supposed to witness against it. Right? At the very least, he entreat God to it. Like, yo, this hurts me. This pains me. I know what I'm supposed to do right here. You know what I'm talking about? At the very least, man didn't do none of it. Guess what he did? Watch it.
Notwithstanding, they hearkened not unto the voice of their father, because the Lord would slay them. Mm-hmm. And the child Samuel grew on and was in favor both with the Lord and also with men.
Mm-hmm.
And there came a man of God unto Eli and said unto him, Thus says the Lord, Did I plainly appear unto you, unto the house of your father, when they were in Egypt in Pharaoh's house? And did I choose him out of all the tribes of Israel to be my priest? I always like how he set up, how he said it so.
Set it up. Like, just stop me when I go wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, stop me when I start doing something wrong.
Like, didn't I take your mans and made them my mans and treated you with all of the utmost?
Yeah, buddy.
That's even funny. And I did choose him out of all the tribes of Israel to be my priest, to offer up on mine altar, to burn incense, to wear an ephod before me. And did I give unto you the house of your father, all of the offerings made by fire of the children of Israel? Why kick you at my sacrifice and my offering, which I have commanded in my habitation? And honor your sons above me, to make yourselves fat with the chiefest of all the offerings of Israel, my people.
Right? He said, and you honor your sons above me. My law designated one judgment for what they did. And they are representative for the people. Judgment should have been swift with them. Right? But it wasn't. So he said, now what you doing is kicking against my office, kicking against my sacrifice. Let's see what he's going to do about it.
Therefore, the God of Israel, the Lord God of Israel says, I said indeed that your house and the house of your father should walk before me forever. But now the Lord says, be it far from me. For them that honor me, I will honor. And they that despise me shall be lightly esteemed. Behold, the days come that I will cut off thine arm and the arm of thy father's house, that there shall not be an old man in thy house.
Pay attention what he said. He said, them that honor me shall be honored. But them that despise me shall be despised. Is that what it say? He said, them that honor me shall be honored, and them that despise me shall be what?
Lightly esteemed.
You know what that means? Oh, I love that. That's beautiful. He said, I don't even care about them, boy. Like, you know what I'm talking about? He like, I don't hate them. You know what I'm saying? I don't despise them. I ain't even thinking about them boys. You honor me? Oh, I honor you. You hate me? You despise me? You ain't even, listen, you ain't even like on my mind no more. I ain't even like, you ain't even in the window. I don't care what happened to your butt. Right? Watch this.
And there shall not be an old man in thine house forever. And the man of thine whom I shall not cut off from mine altar shall be to consume thine eyes and to grieve thine heart. And all the increase of thine house shall die in the flower of their age. He
said, all the increase of thy house shall die at a young age. He said, there ain't going to be no old man in thy house. He said, matter of fact, anybody who do make it is just going to be to grieve your darn heart. A little bit after that, guess what happened to his sons?
They died.
Both died in the war. The message came back to Eli. They told him, guess what happened to him?
He died.
He fell off and shot. You know what I'm saying? Fell off his rocking chair and shot. Broke his darn neck, book say. Say he's a big man. He's a fat man. You know what I'm saying? He fell off, you know what I'm saying, and broke his darn neck. Snapped that thing. Died. His son, one of his sons had a son. You know what I'm saying? So the son's wife had a baby. You know what I'm saying? That baby grew up. And eventually that led to Ahimelech. So everybody of the house got the judgment that God was just talking about right there. Cut them all off. Right? Then there's one more that lasted and ended up working with David. You know what I'm saying? So we didn't really get into it when we read through that too much. But I think we'll have a reason to go back to it in a little bit. So we'll talk more about that one.
And then I think it was another one in Solomon's day. Solomon took him from being priest and made.
That's the same one. Yeah. That comes from the same line at least.
Yeah. So when Solomon got in office, it's like, you're not going to be priest no more. I think he got his cousin, because then, sons of Zadok, that's when the sons of Zadok started getting important.
Yeah. Let's go back to, where were we? Mark what?
Mark.
Did we finish Mark?
I don't know. It was on verse 28.
Okay, it's Mark chapter, 2?
Yeah, 2:28.
Mark chapter 2, verse 28. I wanted to get to the Sermon on the Mount, but we'll have to wait for that next week.
Mark chapter 2.
Mm-hmm. Mark chapter 2, verse 28.
That sounds like Billy Graham. Oh yeah, that was it. We're on chapter 3 now.
All right, it's Mark chapter 3, verse 1. Let's see what the book said.
And he entered again into the synagogue, and there was a man there which had a withered hand.
Mm-hmm.
And they watched him.
Who else had a withered hand?
What's my man, the king? Who was that? Who was that?
You remember?
Was it Jeroboam?
Jeroboam, right? Remember Jeroboam? Jeroboam reached out his arm at the man of God, withered that thing up so quick. You know what I'm saying? He's like, all right, hold on, fix it now. You know what I'm saying? He tried to get him to fix it. All right, keep going, watch this.
And they watched him whether he would heal him on the Sabbath day, that they might accuse him. And he said unto the man which had the withered hand, stand forth. And he said unto them, is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath days or do evil?
All right, so they asked him on the Sabbath day. He knew that they were waiting to try to catch him up. Because they looking for him. They trying to, you have to understand, it's no different than how we might look at some. Like when we see these sinners out here and these people that start preaching the word, the first thing we said, we skeptical, right? Because we know a lot of y'all lying. So it's the first time somebody, I want us to understand, it's dangerous for us too, right? It's the first thing we gonna start doing is trying to line up the word with them. Like, okay, let's see how he handled this thing. You know what I mean? That's us. We'll do that today. Just like a lot of other people.
I would.
No, we do, yeah, 100%. We'll do that. Because you can't be too darn careful. You gotta be like, okay, hold on, let me see. But that's what they doing to him. The problem with them, like the difference that we can't, the mistake that we can't make is we have to be spot on with the word. We can't take it too far, can't take it too. So they looking at it like, okay, let's see, this is Sabbath day. Let's see what he do today. Let's see if he heals some, you know what I'm saying? He's supposed to be resting. Let's see if he start, you know what I'm saying, healing people today. Because they start looking at it like, healing, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Technically you working. That's your, you know what I'm saying? That's kind of like your way of living right now. So technically you working. Right? So they looking at it like, all right. So y'all sure know, you know what I'm saying? He 6 steps ahead of these people. He looking at it like, he looking like, all right, for sure. You know what I'm saying? For sure. All right. Right? So the man got a hand with it. Everybody watching. As soon as the man walk up, can you heal me? Because they know ain't nobody else came up to him on the Sabbath. Right? So they know the man came up to him with his hand. Everybody look up like, watch. Let's see if he heals. I'm trying to tell you, he's not the Messiah. Messiah wouldn't heal nobody on the darn Sabbath. That's what they having these conversations. They convinced themselves this is how it's supposed to be. Right? So then let's see. Y'all sure peeped it. Right? Y'all sure peeped it. He knew it's coming. Right? Watch how.
And he said unto them, is it lawful to do good on the Sabbath days or to do evil?
Mm-hmm.
To save life or to kill?
Mm-hmm.
But they held their peace.
Now ain't nobody answer. He's looking like, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody answer. Watch this.
And when he had looked around about on them with anger, being grieved for the hardness of their hearts, he said unto the men,
he couldn't get them to just say it. He just couldn't get nobody to be like, nah, you right. You know what I'm saying? It's better to do good on the Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? It's better to heal somebody on the Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? He couldn't get nobody to say it. So that made him mad. He's like, oh, so y'all just so hard-hearted. Y'all don't even want to darn admit I'm about to do the right thing. Just darn haters. That's how he looking at it. He's like, okay, for sure. Then what'd he do?
And he said to the man, stretch forth your hand. And he stretched it out, and his hand was restored whole as the other. And the Pharisees went forth and straightway took counsel with the Herodians against him, how they might destroy him.
Right? They looking at him like, nah, man, this man can't be the one. He looking at him like, man, it can't be. He like doing all this stuff, and he doing it on the Sabbath day. I mean, it's amazing, but it's some type of trickery. Then he went to the Herodians. They work with Rome. He started looking like, man, look, how we gonna get this man? Right? Because they start getting ahead of it like, listen, I don't want y'all, look, he getting a lot of people that believe in him, a lot of following. I want y'all to know he ain't got nothing to do with us. Y'all get him now because all these people gonna start believing in him. Y'all gonna have a bigger thing on your hands. Right? Because they looking like this is not the Messiah. Everybody get to believing that he the Messiah, then he gonna have our whole nation shut down. Rome they self gonna come out. It's better for us to just get ahead of it, go to the road. That's like, you know what I'm saying? That's like, you know what I'm saying? Think of it like the Black Panthers. You know what I'm saying? The Black Panthers, they're kind of sitting around, they ain't really doing nothing. You know what I'm saying? Then you get one group, you know what I'm saying? Before the rest of the Black Panthers think they ready, you know what I'm saying? You get one group like, all right, let's take on the government. You know what I'm saying? So some of the Black Panthers might be like, all right, listen, you know what I'm saying? Let you get out. Look, them boys are not Black Panthers. They somebody else. They, you know what I'm saying? Offshoots. You know what I'm saying? This, that, and another. They not us. Because they know we not ready to take on the whole government yet. You know what I'm saying? Maybe we building up for it, this, that, but we not quite there yet. So that's what they looking at. They looking like, nah, man, you know what I'm saying? This stuff, this don't make no sense. So they got with the Herodians. Keep going. Watch this.
But Yahshua withdrew himself with his disciples to the sea, and a great multitude from Galilee followed him from Judah, and from Jerusalem, and from Edom, and from beyond Jordan, and they about Tyre and Sidon, a great multitude.
Right? So these are great multitudes of people from all of those places. They followed him. So it's like people from Judah, people from Tyre and Sidon, people from Jerusalem, people from all these different places are coming together, and they looking like, all right, where's Yahushua? They looking for him, and they start following him when they found him. All right, keep going.
And he spake to his disciples that a small ship should wait on him because of the multitude, lest they should throng him. For he had healed many, insomuch that they pressed upon him for to touch him, as many as had plagues and unclean spirits, when they saw him, fell down before him and cried, saying, You are the Son of God. And he straightly charged them that they should not make him known.
He's like, shut up.
And he goeth up into the mountain, and called unto him whom he would, and they came unto him. And he ordained 12 that they should be with him, and that he might send them forth to preach, and to have power to heal sickness and to cast out devils.
Right, so that's when he chose the 12 apostles, or disciples at this point. Right, so he had many disciples. Yeah, it's very clear that you have to understand many disciples, but he ordained 12 of them. He picked 12 of them out. Right, he's like, all right, y'all the ones though, like y'all rule this thing. And those same 12 are the ones that later became apostles with the exclusion of Judas Iscariot. Right? Do we get their names in this one?
Yeah, right.
All right, let's talk about their names.
And Simon he surnamed Peter.
Right? So you got Simon Peter.
And James the son of Zebedee, and John the
You also see it as Kepha, right? In other places. Like in Hebrew, you'll call it Kepha. Right? So you got Simon or Peter, right? Same person. Who else?
James the son of Zebedee, and John the brother of James.
Right? So then you got James and John, sons of Zebedee.
And he surnamed them Boanerges, which is the sons of thunder. And Andrew and Philip, and Bartholomew and Matthew.
So you got Andrew, Philip, Bartholomew, and then Matthew. Right?
And Thomas and James the son of Alphaeus.
You got Thomas and you got another James. Right?
And Thaddeus.
And then you got a Thaddeus.
And Simon the Canaanite.
And then you got another Simon.
And Judas Iscariot, which also betrayed him. And they went into a house. Right?
So that's the 12. Right? The last of which being Judas, the Judas that betrayed him later. But that's the 12 that we dealing with here. Right? Keep going.
And the multitude coming together again, so that they could not so much as eat bread. And when his friends heard of it, they went out to lay hold on him, for they said, He is beside himself. And the scribes which came down from Jerusalem said, He hath Beelzebub, and by the prince of the devils cast he out devils.
Right? So they trying to explain it. They don't believe that he's the real deal. Remember, they looking like he can't be the Messiah. This just can't be the Messiah. They probably got a host of reasons in their brain about why he can't be the Messiah. On top of which, the man just healed somebody on the Sabbath, provoking us. He trying to trick everybody, right? So now they recognize that he's really casting out devils and he's really healing. So he's like, the way that he's doing that is by Beelzebub, by a devil, by a demon. He casting out demons by demons, right? We ain't got to get it right there because technically something happened in between that. Some of these, some of the narratives is not completely in order. You know what I'm saying? So we got to jump around to make sure we cover everything. So in between that, Sermon on the Mount happened. You know what I'm saying? So we got to get to the Sermon on the Mount. You know what I'm saying? Nobody know nothing about the Sermon on the darn Mount. We got to talk to it. That's a good Christian. Look, you can't get more Christian than the Sermon on the Mount. All right? So we got to darn talk about it. Got to make sure we good Christians next week. All right? That's it. We got 3 weeks left to the Feast of Weeks. Tomorrow after the Sabbath of that week. And we got the Sermon on the Mount next week. Can't beat it. Right? Any questions? All right, let's pray out.